Hey everyone, this is Mike from Altogether Academy, and today we're going to talk about the one thing that you can understand that is the foundation of what you need to know in order to choose to cultivate health and happiness. All right, so this is the foundational concept that anyone needs to understand about their nervous system in order to continually make the choice to cultivate health and happiness. Because remember, happiness is a skill, health is a skill, wellness is a skill, joy is a skill, love is a skill. These are muscles that we can build. They are strengths that we can exercise. And that is even if, aside from, and especially because bad stuff happens. But the one thing that we need to know is that, and really actually I find that myself and clients, we need to be kind of convinced that of the absolute futility. It is absolutely futile to think that we will ever feel the way we value and choose to feel if our brain and nervous system is in what I'll call the survival mode. Now, the survival mode is millions of years of evolution have made it such that the survival mode is much easier to default to. It's much easier to go into survival mode. Why? Because evolutionarily, the priority was not for us to be really happy and for us to be really full of joy and wonder and creativity and love, all the things that we want as human beings. The priority was for us to survive. The priority was for us to survive and to procreate. And so in this case, the survival mode gets a lot more of the deeper parts of the neural connections are much easier to fire and wire than some of the other things that we might prefer or want more of in our life. And so we are designed to be quickly alarmed and to stay alarmed in a way that is not even accurate necessarily to what's actually happening. Because really, an alarm does not work if it doesn't go off sometimes when there's no fire. And so we are designed to assume that the stick is a snake. And this is really functional in situations where life or death really is on the line. And by all means, and there's a very small, there's no likelihood that you will be able to outgrow the actual life or death survival mechanism. Like if you are, need to swerve out of the way of a car accident, that system is going to come on. If you are, under attack, that system is going to come on. You're never, ever, ever going to stop that from happening. Most people you see out there that are really suffering, most of us that are under the, what we would call stress, are actually activating, are living from the survival mode and then wishing for, wanting to be, hoping and wondering why they don't have lots more energy, why they don't have a lot of vitality, why they feel nervous, why they feel angry, why they feel frustrated, why they feel numb, why they feel depressed. Well, that's because those are the only options for the survival mode. The survival mode can only do three things. It can only fight, it can only flight, run away, and it can only hide, freeze, or shut down. Fight, flight, or freeze. You've heard of these things, right? Some people talk about fawn also. I'm just going to stick with fight, flight, or freeze. The survival mode can only do that. Not only can it only do that, but it can also only interpret experience through the lens of the survival mode. It assumes that the stick is a snake, and it's designed to do that. There's nothing wrong with your survival mode that it does that. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your brain. Your survival mode can only interpret the world as if it's a problem, as if it's a threat. And it is absolutely futile to expect it to do anything differently than that. And it is also totally natural and totally appropriate that when our nervous system is in thriving mode, we feel joy, openness, love, kindness, awareness, empathy, compassion, we consciousness. right? That survival mode, what does it have us do? If you're walking through the woods and you see a stick and your survival mode interprets it as a snake, which is what it's going to do first, snake. Oh, okay. It's only a stick. But first, the immediate default mode reaction is that it's a snake, and it has us narrow our focus. And it narrows our focus in a way that we go to preserve the safety of our body. So we narrow our focus on ourselves, and we armor ourselves, literally, and this is literally, we could go on and on into this about the musculature and the fascia and the organs and the posture and the breath and the things that happen in our eyes and our face and our pheromones, even in our muscular tension. We literally armor ourselves to fight, run away, or hide. And it's actually a very similar muscular pattern for all of them. And in that, there is actually some really wonderful interventions, but that's for another video. However, the survival mode has us narrow our focus and protect ourselves. And it is this very sense of self-isolation, of separateness, of feeling like there is me and a other that I need to protect myself from as our frame of reference for life. I'm not saying if there is an actual snake, I don't want to jump back from it. I'm saying if our nervous system is in this frame of reference, then we are constantly producing a sense of self and other that is separate, that I need to be protected from. And the only things that I can do are either fight it, run away from it, or hide from it. I can either be angry, afraid, or depressed. And when I am living and interpreting life through that lens, then that mechanism is actually generating the very sense of self and stories and experiences and activities and identities that have me feel separate and have me feel me consciousness. But true happiness, true love, true connection, true thriving, true creativity, true inspiration, true joy, true wonder, true beauty is actually in we consciousness. It is in a sense of openness. It is a sense that we feel connected, that we feel one with things, that we feel a sense of flow, that we feel a sense of beauty, awe, wonder, play. It is absolutely impossible to feel those things that we value and choose, that we truly desire, if our brain is in survival mode, if our nervous system is in survival mode. And I want us to be utterly convinced of this, so that we can recognize, oh, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. The reasons, the stories that I tell myself about the snake and what color it is and where it came from and how long it's been there and how there were many snakes in the past, all of that is secondary to the nervous system being in survival mode. That is primary. All the stories and reasons, many of which are valid, many of which are true, many of which are happened, many of which are lies. In fact, our survival mode is designed to delete information, to distort information, and to exaggerate information so that we are preparing for snake when it's only a stick. And again, very useful in life or death situations, very problematic when we're interpreting our partner that way, our children that way, our test tomorrow that way, our job that way, our being stuck in traffic that way. Okay, so even talking about this getting me really excited, and it's a very, 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 very empowering thing to know that we can do something about it. And it doesn't need to be hard, And it doesn't need to be a struggle. In fact, that's survival mode orientation. In fact, it can be easy. And here's a really powerful question that you're going to hear me talk about a lot, over and over and over again. What is the next easiest thing that I'm willing to do?